Welcome, everybody, to the latest edition of the Bullpen with Adam the Bull, brought to you by BetRivers. Coming up on today's podcast, we're talking Cavaliers, still looking for a new head coach after firing their head coach, J.B. Bickerstaff, last week. Training camp will be here before you know it. We'll do a little on the Browns today, but a whole lot to talk about with the Cleveland Guardians. Their winning streak, unfortunately, comes to an end, and they start a new one tonight in Colorado. Plus, I almost got into a fight at a minor league game. That's all coming up on today's edition of the Bullpen with Adam the Bull, brought to you by BetRivers.
You're watching Adam the Bull on the BetRivers Network.
Folks, before we get into anything, let me tell you, if you're not using the BetRivers app by now, I don't know what on earth you could possibly be waiting for. BetRivers has all kinds of, first of all, it's easy to use. That's the most important thing. You can bet the spreads, you can bet the money lines, you can bet the parlays, whatever you want to do. I put out a parlay for you every Tuesday and Friday. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't. Listen, parlays are not going to hit all the time. If they were that easy, you wouldn't win as much money as you do when you hit them. But I've hit a few for you, and hopefully that will continue today. The BetRivers, speaking of parlays, the BetRivers oh-so-close parlay insurance during the NBA playoffs continues. If you place a parlay on 4 or more legs of an NBA playoff game, including the game tonight, each day you get part of your stake back in bonus bets if you're exactly 1 leg short of hitting your parlay. So you bet a 5-leg parlay, you hit 4. There you go. The insurance is valid on your first NBA parlay of the day. See the BetRivers app for more details and to see how much stake back you are eligible for. The Cleveland Guardians' 9-game winning streak came to an end yesterday. A game they had to lead looked to be on their way to winning their 10th straight. Unfortunately, it fell apart. The Guardians had a 4-1 lead going to the bottom of the 4th. Xavier Curry, who pitched pretty well going into yesterday's game, got tattooed in that 4th inning, couldn't get out of it, and ends up giving up 6 runs in that 4th inning. The Guardians never die, but they couldn't come back all the way in this one, and the final score is 8-6 in favor of Colorado. Even in the loss, Tyler Freeman, who's been really hot in that leadoff spot, went 3 for 5 with 2 runs and a ribby. Jose Ramirez had 2 hits and another 2 RBIs. He leads the majors with 54. Josh Naylor, though, continues to struggle. The man who carried this team in April has been ice cold, especially for the last couple of weeks. He goes 0 for 5. David Fry had a hit and an RBI. Kyle Manzardo had a hit in this one. And Bo Naylor, it'd be nice to get him going. Bo Naylor had a couple of hits in this one, 2 for 4 with a run scored. Obviously, as I said, Curry did not pitch well. He got bombed. We'll see next time around the rotation what they decide to do with him. They'll probably stick with him for now because let's face it, they don't really have many options at the moment. But looking ahead to the rest of this series against the Colorado Rockies, the Guardians will play. We'll have Tristan McKenzie on the hill tonight. Not a great start his last time out, but overall he's pitched very well this season. In his last start, he gave up 3 runs in 5 innings, gave up 3 homers, 3 solo shots, and 8 total base runners with 5 Ks over 5 innings. But it was the first time he'd given up 3 runs in 5 starts. He pitched overall for May. He's been really good. And he's done it against some good teams in Houston, who's obviously playing a lot better, Minnesota as well. And then Logan Allen will pitch the final game in Colorado and the final game of the road trip on Wednesday against Ty Block. That's an 8:40 start. Ryan Feltner will pitch for the Rockies tonight. So the Guardians have an edge in the pitching matchup in these next 2 games. It's so funny because the last time the Guardians lost the series was to the awful White Sox. They lost, of course, 3 out of 4. And, since then they had won 12 of 13 before losing to Colorado. And you don't want to lose a series to Colorado. I mean, obviously they're 18 games over 500. They're still in great shape. It's 1 loss, but it's kind of funny that that their 4 of their last 5 losses have come to 2 of the worst teams in baseball, the White Sox and now the Rockies. Hopefully they can pull out these last 2 and win this series. Then they come home for a very interesting 6-game homestand, at least the back end of it is. Over the weekend, they'll play the Nationals. And then next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, in a series that starts on my birthday on June the 4th, they'll play the Royals. And it's really good, really interesting pitching matchups in that series. If it doesn't change, you'll have Tristan McKenzie against Seth Lugo in the first game of that series. Lugo has been unbelievable for the Royals. He's been fantastic. In the second game of that series, Logan Allen and Brady Singer. And then the third game, Tanner Bybee and Michael Waka. So a really interesting series there before the Guardians go on a 3-city road trip after that. So, I mean, listen, outside of Kansas City, the Guardians are not playing anybody very good here through the end of May and into the middle of June. So they really need to continue to try to pile up the wins. And they've done just that. One loss doesn't stop that. They still have won 12 of their last 14 games. They still have the second best record in all of baseball behind, I'm sorry. No, they don't have the second best record in baseball. They have the third best record in baseball. The Yankees moved ahead of them. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Oh, the Yankees didn't play yesterday. That's right. Did the Yankees play yesterday? They must have not played. Yeah. Yes, they did not play yesterday. So the Guardians dropped them a half game behind the Yankees in terms of standings overall. So they have the third best record in the American League, but 2.5 up on Kansas City, who lost their second straight yesterday after they had won 8 in a row when the Guardians had won 9 in a row. And there's nothing to be concerned about. Right now, the Guardians are playing great baseball. They're second in run differential, a third in run differential in the American League. They're pitching very well. The bullpen's been great. The lineup, for the most part, has been fantastic. And Steven Kwan is on his way back. I would suspect we'll see him Friday when they come back from Colorado and begin their series with Washington, because over the weekend, Steven Kwan played 2 games for the Lake County Captains. Of course, for those of you who live in the Cleveland area, you know that the Lake County Captains play not very far from where the Guardians play. Maybe, 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, roughly. It's just right down 90 east of the stadium. And so I went to the game Saturday, and a couple of thoughts. First, thoughts on the field. Steven Kwan played left field. I want to say they pulled him I can't remember if they pulled him in the top of the 7th, the top of the 8th. But he got 3 at-bats. He played at least 6 innings, maybe 7 in left field. He seemed to be moving fine. His first at-bat, he had a hard ground ball out to the first baseman. His second at-bat, a soft fly ball to the left fielder. Then his third at-bat, he absolutely tattooed one over the right center field wall for a 3-run lead that would give a 3-run homer that would, if you care about such things, give the Captains the lead. They would then blow the lead to West Michigan and then regain it and win the game. But he looked great. And then the next day, I wasn't there on the Sunday game, but he DH'd that game, and he again played 6-7 innings. And so I think the key was there was no setbacks as far as we know this weekend. He looked good moving on the field. He looked good running the bases. He didn't get on base and steal a base because, as I said, the game that I was at, he had 2 outs and a home run, so he's jogging around the bases on that one. But even on the ground out, he seemed fine running down to first base, and it looks like he should be ready to go pretty soon. Day off for him yesterday. I think he's going to play in Columbus, I believe, today and tomorrow. If he plays today and tomorrow in Columbus, takes a day off Thursday, and then I would expect him to be in the lineup against Washington on Friday. And with so many other guys now hitting pretty well, it's just a boost. I mean, Tyler Freeman's going to drop out of that leadoff spot. Freeman has picked it up, done a really nice job, but there's no way Steven Kwan's losing his leadoff spot, because Steven Kwan is as good a leadoff hitter as there is in baseball. So Kwan will be back in the lineup, and if Freeman can continue to hit a little lower in the lineup, then, hey, there you go. Just lengthen out the lineup even more. The Guardians begin the day 12th in home runs per game at 1.09 in a virtual tie for 11th with Minnesota. They're, 1/100th of a percentage point behind them. But again, this is a situation where the Guardians continue to hit the ball for power. They didn't hit any home runs yesterday, and I mentioned the other day, they're 5th in home runs at home. Progressive Field has given up a lot of home runs this year. You remember in the offseason, we talked about this a little bit on the Guardian show. The fact that they pulled those what looked like shipping crates out of right field, opened up right field a little bit, especially for these left-handed hitters like Naylor and Ramirez. I mean, when they're hitting left-handed, Ramirez. uh, you know, it has really opened things up. And it seems like the ballpark is playing uh, just as much more of a hitter's park than it's ever been in the past. And so when Jose's hitting lefty, and obviously Naylor always hits lefty, it seems like it's an advantage. I don't know. Maybe it's coincidence. Maybe they're just, hitting for more power, and it's just a coincidence that they opened that up. But they said they did a study on it, but it really seems like the field is playing as way more of a home run park than it has in the past. The Guardians are averaging 1.38 home runs per game at home. That's fifth in baseball. On the road, they are, not bad, but let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're 11th from the bottom. So what is it, 28th, 18th? They're they're averaging 0.87 home runs on the road. That's not bad, but at home, they've just been crazy. The only teams hitting more home runs at home than the Guardians, the Orioles, the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Astros. Those are big-time home run hitting teams. And those teams overall are 1, 2, 3, and 5 in total. 1, 2, 3, and 6. I did not realize the Oakland Athletics are tied for third with the Dodgers in home runs. That is crazy to me. I did not. That is bizarre. I would not have guessed that. Dead last this year, the Chicago White Sox, on a worse pace than even the Guardians were at last year, averaging 0.69 home runs per game. My gosh. Anyway, so I'm feeling good about Kwan, obviously feeling great about the Guardians. One other thing I wanted to mention from my trip to Lake County yesterday or Saturday is, first of all, the stadium is just, it's okay. It kind of, I went for the first time when I first moved to Cleveland like 12 years ago, and I felt like it was a nicer park, and now it's 12 years later. The park seems a little kind of old. It's not like, there's no great views, not a great parking situation. 27 minutes to get food from the concession stand. I know the place was more crowded than usual because Steven Kwan was there, but come on. We got to do a better job than people waiting 27 minutes on the concession stand. You want to make all the fat jokes you want about me, that's fine. But there were skinny people on those lines too. 27 minutes to get crappy concession food is absurd. I was stupid enough to wait. Plus, I almost got into a fight on the line. Some woman said, that guy cut the line, so I went to confront the guy. Then I was told he didn't cut the line, but he was pissed that I confronted him, and it almost turned into a whole thing. I think the guy wanted to fight. I tried to stay calm because I got kids around, and usually the lunatic me would have just gone nuts, and I did tell the guy to mind his own effing business, even though I got in his business, to be fair, in the first point. But, we were all getting angry waiting on the line. It led to a lot of aggravation for everybody. But in the end, there was no fight. The guy was a putz, but no fight happened. I managed not to completely lose my temper, which was a step up. I didn't swing at anybody in front of kids. I'm too old for that nonsense. I'm too old to be having fights. I'm not 20 anymore. I haven't had a fight in forever, and I shouldn't. I don't even know if I can fight anymore. It's been so long since I've had a fight. I think I got some old man strength at this point, but I don't know if I got anything beyond that. I certainly don't have the energy to keep a fight going. So, all right, let's switch it up and talk some hoops. Before we do that, let me remind you folks that about the BetRivers app. Always can bet my parlays, always can bet the spreads, whatever you're looking to do. And if you think you know who's going to set the tone for the game, how about tonight maybe with the NBA playoff game? Make that bet at BetRivers, and you'll pick up an extra bonus with the first bucket bet and get. Place a wager on who will make the first basket of an NBA game. When you do, BetRivers will give you a profit boost to use on another bet. I love this. It's an awesome opportunity to get some extra cash to make a bet you like. So check out the BetRivers app for more details. Get that profit boost. See the BetRivers app about the first bucket, bet and get. The Cleveland Cavaliers are still looking for a new head coach. And a couple of names, we talked about some other names the other day, a couple of names that have popped up recently, Johnny Dawkins and Terry Stotts. Stotts was a coach at Portland. These are some veteran guys. I think the question is, do you want the Cavs to hire a guy who's a retread? Or do you want the Cavs to hire an exciting name who's never been a head coach before? I think we all get excited about the unknown. If it's a guy who's tried and failed, it's not going to get us excited. Now, that might be the right guy because maybe he's learned from that experience and he'll be better the next time around. In most walks of life, we're better when we have more experience. We're better when we've done something before. But when it comes to coaches, we as fans are often way more excited about the unknown, about the sexy assistant who's never been a head coach, but his team is good and he's the assistant, so we think it's going to translate to success for our team. Maybe the case. In the end, with the Cavs, to me, it's about the roster even more than it is about the coach. Now, I think in the end, the Cavs did the right thing in firing J.B. Bickerstaff. What I don't understand is why Kobe Altman has been given a complete pass by the organization, as if he's not just as much to blame, if not more so, for the Cavs' failures in big moments. I don't understand why. And maybe a long look was taken at Kobe Altman. In the end, Dan Gilbert decided he would stick with him. But I think Kobe Altman's job should have been on the line as much as Bickerstaff. He's proven nothing. He has one playoff win. Now the team's gotten better, but any argument you could use to boost Kobe, you could use to boost JB. I thought it was a package deal. I would have fired Kobe also, but that's not the case. Okay, well, he better turn it around this season because the chemistry's not right. They got to find a different mix. They got to re-sign Donovan or trade him. The thing is, though, Kobe's been given all this opportunity, starting with the terrible Kyrie Irving trade and the terrible Kevin Love signing. Now, he's done a better job since then, but not good enough. We gave him a chance at the end of the good times, and he blew that. We gave him a chance with the rebuild, and he did a decent job, but not good enough. Are we going to give him a chance now to reset the redo with Donovan? If Donovan has to be traded because he won't sign, or if Donovan signs and you feel like you've got to trade Garland and or Allen, do we trust Kobe Altman to get the best of those deals? I don't. But we have no choice because he's the guy who's here. Hopefully he'll get it done. Finally, training camp right around the corner. Well, I shouldn't say right around the corner. You got mini camps and OTAs and all that hazarai going on right now. Training camp, though, is less than 2 months away or about 2 months away. And it's always the catch-22. I was just talking about this in our team meeting about, you want football season. I know most of us do, but you also don't want to rush the summer. The weather's beautiful, especially if you live here in Cleveland and much of the north and northeast of the country. You don't get that many months of great weather, so you don't want to rush it past. But we're all excited about football season. It always seems to make, especially the late summer, August, late July, or it's August, go pretty fast because you get to training camp and then you get to the preseason games and all of that happens. But right now, I think you got to be very careful to think you can learn anything from mini camps and OTAs. I don't care about videos of Deshaun Watson throwing the ball. I don't care about videos of rookies making a play in OTAs. That's not to dismiss the Browns. I would say the same thing about any team. Players and coaches can learn things about themselves and their team in mini camps and OTAs. But as media and fans, I think that's ridiculous. We don't learn anything there. We don't know what they're trying to accomplish. And interceptions or good passes when there's no threat of real hits is meaningless. All that matters is what you do in the games that matter, not what you do in practices in the summer. They have value, but they don't have value in having the outside world, us, learn anything. So just keep that in mind as you see all these stories of people trying to fill content during the summer. All right, thanks to everybody for joining me as always. Please, if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button. give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. Thanks to Monzo for producing. Oh, look at that. Look at the bubble thumbs up. I like that. That's pretty cool. Thanks to all of you for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next time. Where else but right here in the bullpen with Adam the Bull, brought to you by BetRivers. See ya.